But you have some good news for Star Trek fans because potentially you and Paramount may get together and make a movie. Tell us about it.
Yes, I hope it will be good. We are, according to my agents, near closing a contract with Paramount Pictures, who own the Star Trek copyright, to do a full-length, widescreen Star Trek motion picture. And for myself and the crew and the cast to do something like this, to do things that we uh, could not have do with television budgets and on a television screen, tell some of the stories that we couldn't tell in those days, is a very exciting thing.
Do you have a favorite show from the Star Trek series?
It's hard for a producer to have a favorite because there are some that it was just a miracle that you got anything on the air at all with the beginning, middle, and end. I remember days in which, at the last moment, a script fell through and we were writing them sitting on camp stools while the actors were doing their lines. The and so as a result, we remember those warmly. I can't say I really have a favorite.
What was your shooting schedule? I was unbelievable.
Well, yeah, it was. We did the show in 6 days, 6 shooting days, and that's the equivalent of doing a half a motion picture every week, which is our schedule was 12 to 14 hours a day, and the production staff worked 6 days a week. During the first 2 years, there was not a member of our production staff that was not in the hospital at one time or another from exhaustion.
Hmm. Do you ever hear from the old gang, Nimoy, Shatner?
It one of the most pleasant things about the show for me is the fact that it's one of the few I know of where everyone parted good friends. We see each other constantly. I talked to Jimmy Doohan this morning on the phone, Leonard Nimoy last night, Bill Shatner a week ago, and we still meet, toss down a drink, and tell stories on ourselves.
That's unbelievable because usually
Usually you're all
people part
enemies.
company. Yeah.
I think possibly one of the reasons this happened to us is everyone said that it couldn't be done to do the opticals and all of that. And I think we sort of decided that we'll show them. We'll show them we can do it. And, it created an esprit that lasted. There are many people that have thought the reason Star Trek went off the air was because it was too expensive, and perhaps it does look expensive. Actually, it was really well known within the industry for the fact that it was not. We made Star Trek at Desilu Studios and then Paramount for $15,000 less an episode than they made Mission Impossible for at the same studio at the same time.
What was your response? I think it was at the end of the second year where NBC was just flooded with letters from fans. I don't think it's ever happened before in the history of television where the fans saved a television show.
Well, about are not just a bunch of screaming kids. We get letters from college presidents, from people at NASA, from businessmen, children too, of course, policemen, firemen. It's been a strange thing that it's such a broad spectrum of fans. One of the things that has delighted from 14 and 16-year-olds, which send diagrams of a way to hold antimatter in a magnetic field and things like that. We have to take it to our scientific advisors at Caltech to understand it. You know, people that say youth is going to hell should visit some high schools and universities and meet these kids because they are bright and they are great.
That's right, and partially thanks to Star Trek.
Uh, when you say Gene Roddenberry, you want to be up there, or you created this in Star Trek, I should make one thing clear too, is that although I wrote the original layout of Star Trek, the skeleton for it, it should be understood that what the show was very much a combined effort of fine actors who took my skeletons and put flesh on it, of art directors and costume directors, and really a group of remarkable people who came together at that time. And not for a moment can I take credit for those things.
Can you tell us about that very first pilot? Now that had a different cast to it, and I don't think it's ever been shown on television or seen by the general public.
That's right. We did a pilot. We shot a first pilot for Star Trek back in '64, and NBC turned it down in the belief that it was too cerebral for the audience. However, they were sufficiently impressed by the fact that it seemed believable. Mort Werner who was very much one of our supporters at NBC, said it was the first time he ever felt that he was really in a spaceship. So they did order a second pilot. The first one, we do not have a color copy of it because when it was turned down, the studio thought so little of it, really, that they never held on to a color print. But it's an interesting thing to see because it has Jeffrey Hunter in command, and students of television and fans of Star Trek, it's interesting for them to see what was changed and why it was changed and all of that. One of the interesting things in the first pilot was we had a woman second in command of the show, and these were in the pre-women lib days.
Right, you were ahead of your time
well,
again.
I felt, and so did most of the people with us, that sexual equality is so obviously something that should be, that there's no arguing. But they did make us take the woman out because in those years they felt that the audience would not accept a woman in command of anything. I hope that has changed now.
I think it's changed.
I wouldn't care to go to a college campus and take their time and take mine without being serious about some things too. So about half my talk concerns other things, and principally television, where it's going, what I think is wrong with it, where I think telecommunications is going in the future, and I happen to think that we are really on the edge of a whole new explosion in human communications.